Welcome to Mom's Life Made Simple, the podcast for moms who want to go from chaos to calm, from overwhelmed to organized, and to find balance between family responsibilities and personal growth. I'm your host, Chanel Nielsen. Let's make mom life simple. Hey, you guys, welcome to the Mom's Life Made Simple podcast. I'm so glad you're here, and I am here today with Stacy Julian. Stacy, thanks for being with us.
Oh my goodness. Thanks for asking me, Chanel.
Yes, I am so
Happy to be
excited to
here.
spend time with you and to chat. You guys, Stacy is so much fun. We have podcasted together on her podcast, the Exactly Enough Time podcast. And Stacy's just someone who I admire, who puts so much good stuff out into the world. Stacy is a mom of 5 kids, and just like me, she has 4 boys and 1 girl, so that's fun. And Stacy, tell us just a little bit more about yourself.
Well, thank you, first of all. So I'm a grandma. So let's add one beautiful granddaughter to that list of 4 boys and a girl. So I've worked in the memory keeping space, Chanel and listeners, for many, many, many years. And so my passions lie with photos and stories and family history. I love how those things come together. And I think for me, they have always sort of that focus and the opportunity I've had to teach that to others has really helped me stay present in my life. And so I love pictures and stories, and especially now as I get older, I love pictures and stories of ancestors. So
Yeah. Okay, that's so cool. And I love that you have done that and worked in that space and helped and taught others how to do those
yes.
things. I know that's been part of the focus of your work. Okay, so good. And how old is your granddaughter?
Okay, so my granddaughter is okay. Am I gonna have to like figure it out in my brain? She's 18 months. She's probably more like
Okay.
20 months all of a sudden.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so fun.
yeah, but
Okay, very
she's
cool.
so awesome, so special, so fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fun. I look forward to that stage of life. That's
yes,
exciting.
yes.
So, all right, well, we are going to dive in and ask the question that I'm asking all of these amazing moms that I'm bringing on here is how do you make mom life simple?
I will tell you how I try to make mom life simple. And I will say that I am an amazing mom about half the time. And then the other half of the time, I'm probably a hot mess. But, but one of the things that has helped me be an amazing mom, and this is going to just sound totally goofy, but little mini clipboards. Okay. And I even have some to show to show if you happen to be watching this on YouTube. But if you're just listening, you guys, this is a little 6x9, like from Staples, nothing special clipboard. And then, of course, because I'm a little crafty, I like make it cute on the back and I spray paint the front. And then I just create on my computer a list that is pretty specific to what I need to simplify. Okay. So back up lots of years when I had those 4 boys in different schools going different directions, and I created a morning clipboard. I'm a big morning person, and you and I talked about that, Chanel. And what I don't like to do in the morning is say, did you pack your lunch? Did you make your bed? Did you put this away? Did you get, your permission slip? All of this stuff. And so I created a morning clipboard for each of my children. And there were some standard things on there, like I expect you to make your bed, and I expect you to brush your teeth and eat breakfast and pack your lunch. And then if there were specific things based on the sport they were playing or piano lessons after school or whatever it was, I would add it. So in my home for many years, you didn't get an allowance, but I paid you $1 a day for a completed clipboard. And what I like about that is then in the morning I was saying, did you do your clipboard? Because then that covers all of it, all the things that were on the clipboard. And I never made it a huge deal if they didn't, because honestly, they are the ones that dealt with the consequences. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, you didn't do your clipboard. It was just like, well, that's a bummer. Because had you done your clipboard, you would be prepared, So if they forgot their lunch, I'm like, yeah, that's a bummer. I wish I could bring it to you. It's on your clipboard. So maybe tomorrow you'll remember. You know what I mean? It was a really great way for me to pass the accountability on to them. And and there's some kids that never took to it all the way. And then there were some kids who are like, every Friday, you owe me $5. Perfect clipboard week. So it was just a tool, and then I could adjust it. I would print 10 at a time. And then if we needed to adjust things, I would. And they were so cute. Sometimes they'd come stand and like, Mom, I don't want that first. I want you to put, eat breakfast first and then make your bed. And so they would say, I want this in a certain order. But that was them taking ownership in,
Yeah.
how they needed their morning to go. So that's one example. And then for years, I had a nanny that worked for me because I worked full time at a magazine, and there was a nanny clipboard. And that way I could, add to the standard things. I need you to go to the store and I need you to get me this, this, and this. And I need you to make this for dinner or whatever it was. So I've used them in so many different ways. And right now, currently with my daughter, I homeschool her, and we literally have 5 homeschool clipboards. Okay. So I just had her go up and bring 3 of them down. So each day of the week, there's a clipboard. So I know exactly what's going to happen every Wednesday when we go up to the homeschool room. Like, we're going to do teaching textbooks. We're going to have a little devotional. We're going to do language arts. We're going to do history. So I know that there are short days and long days, but I don't have to think, what are the subjects or what are the things that we do today?
Yeah.
We just grab the clipboard and we mark it off as we go. So that's the general idea. And I've just used them in so many different ways, and I love them. I love making
That's
clipboards.
so fun. Okay, that's so cute. And I love that idea. And it's not something that I've really heard a lot, to be honest. It's not something you hear people talking about. So
Yeah.
this is really fun.
Well, it's kind of
Um,
low tech. I mean, it's kind of low tech. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, it's not your phone, because there's so many people I think that do an amazing job of managing their life and their time. But for me, low tech worked again because this is when my kids were little and there was actually less tech back then. But I really just it was born out of necessity. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I just really, the best thing about all out is just really, without sitting my kids down and telling them, okay, you've got to be the kind of person that makes lists and knows what it was a way to sort of help them make that happen without it just happened naturally. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So
definitely. And I
anyway, I
think
cut you off. You were going to say
no,
something.
I think you actually bring up a really good point about the tech, because I think a lot of people would think, okay, well, can't I just do this on my phone? But there are a lot of dangers if either your kid is holding a phone or you're holding a phone. We know our phones hijack our brain all the time. And in my kids' schools, they use Chromebooks for everything, for
Yeah,
all their schoolwork, all their homework. And I'll go and I'll see them with their Chromebook and think they're doing schoolwork, but sometimes they're totally sidetracked and doing something else. And I think the clipboard is only the clipboard. You
that's
can't
true.
accidentally go and play a game, when you're supposed to be eating breakfast. So I like this a lot. I have I have a few different questions, but first, like,
Okay.
just on a really, I don't know what you call it, but do you have to cut the paper in half? How do
So
you?
yes, that's a good question actually. So it's just a standard. You open up a Word, document, and you put your page landscape, and then
Okay.
I just set 2 columns, and then I create one list with little bubbles, and then I basically just copy and paste it to the other side. So then when I print one piece of paper, it's printing
It's got
2
two.
checklists. So I have a folder on my computer, and this is back in the day. So there would be literally the folder that was Chase's clipboards, Clark's clipboards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so each kid had their folder, and then sort of the iterations or the variations of the actual checklist. And that's what I have now. I have a folder that is homeschool, and in there you'll find the clipboards, the checklist for each day of the week. Sorry.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Okay, I like that. I tried something, it wasn't super cutesy, but for our kids' chores that they do on Saturday, they have a zone, they have a section of the house. And I
Yes.
tried writing out, like, okay, so for the bathroom, you've got to take out the trash, you've got to wipe down the toilet, all the steps to cleaning the bathroom. And my kids really rolled their eyes and thought it was dumb. And so you mentioned some of your kids took to this more than others. I'm really curious to know, is it like a personality thing, do you think, or is it the way it's presented? What did you find in getting the kids on board? Like, what
Yeah.
worked?
Yeah, and that's so funny you mentioned the zone cleaning, because guess who had clipboards in her zones? Like, you close the
I am
bathroom
not
door,
surprised. Yeah.
close the bathroom door, and there's the bathroom checklist. When you're done, you bring me the checklist. Yeah, so I mean, I have one beautiful son with ADHD, and he was honestly the one. It's hard. It's hard to stay focused and to stay on task. So he would get discouraged that he very rarely had a quote unquote perfect clipboard day. So I would get to the point where I would put funny things on his, like stop and I don't know, like I can't even remember what he would get distracted with, you know what I mean? But I would watch a cartoon on there, or, just things that I knew he liked to do to try
Yeah.
and make it a little more appealing to him. Stop and have a snack. So, and and this is kind of confusing because it wasn't just morning stuff. So there was morning stuff they did, and it kind of depended because we morphed it over time. But there was kind of a morning section and then there was an afternoon section. And the thing that motivated this particular son is at the bottom of the checklist, it just says you're free. Like if once you mark those things off, you know what I
Mm.
mean? Then you are free. Now you don't owe anything to mom. And I really tried to stick to it. So I couldn't say to them, oh, hey, will you do X, Y, and Z? Because
Yeah.
if they have already done their clipboard, then that's it. You know what I mean? And obviously
Yeah.
you're a team and there's times when you're like, okay, we all got to do something really quick to help your mom out. But I think that why it worked for the other ones particularly is because then they knew mom will be done asking me. And I think as moms, it's really easy to just one more thing and this and that.
Yes.
And it created for them this sense that they did have ownership in their day. If they did the things first that were required of them, then they could make decisions, choices about how to spend the rest of their time.
Yeah.
We had summer clipboards, so it would have certain things that they had to do before 1 p.m. And if they did those by 1 p.m., then they could have 2 hours of TV or computer time. So anyway, that was, I just tried to sort of tailor each clipboard to each kid.
Yeah. I like this so much because you've mentioned a couple things, a couple words that stand out. One is accountability,
Mm-hmm.
this idea that, this is their job. And
Mm-hmm.
then also, I don't think you said the word, but the other thing that's standing out to me is boundaries. It's
Yeah.
like, it's so easy as moms, who do I ask the kid who's the most willing to help at the moment, I need help bringing in groceries or I need this or I need that. And yet they feel like, because I'm willing to help, I'm doing it all. And then they feel kind of put upon because there's lots of other kids to help. And so I really like this idea that, okay, well, these are the things that you're responsible
Mm-hmm.
for. And then they have that sense of ownership. And like you said, then mom's not going to just keep saying, okay, one more thing, one more
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
good system. I like that. How have you used this? You mentioned you used it with the nanny and you mentioned for homeschool. Do you use this system with your own to-do list?
So I definitely have over the years, and right now I'm just using more of a planner just because I feel like it does a better. I'm able to journal and do other things that I wouldn't do on a clipboard. But I do because, and we talked about memory keeping, but I actually created, like I actually sell these in my little shop. You know what I mean? I had someone make me little mini clipboards. But so each month with my photos, I essentially have a mini clipboard, and that's tracks my workflow so that I know, you know what I mean? I've gone through my pictures, I've deleted them, I get to mark off the little trash can when they're deleted. I've gone through, I favorited the ones that I want to see again or print. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy, but it's still that same concept
Yeah.
that I just apply to one area of my life. And, again, it's the tech thing. I like that I can pick it up and I can go with my laptop and I can do it over here or I can do it over there. And I'm not on my phone because just like my kids, I get super distracted.
Yes.
So and then I can pick it up and just be like, oh yeah, that's where I left off and kind of go back to it. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah.
I just love mini clipboards.
Yeah. Well, this is so fun. I
uh,
love it. And I love how you showed
mhm.
us so many different applications and different uses of it, both with our kids, with people we're delegating to, and then with ourselves, that there are
Yeah.
lots of different ways. And I can really see the way that this simplifies. I'd like to just end with
Hmm.
just tying that all in. Like, why do you think, just of all the things we've talked about or any new thoughts that you've had, why do you think that this system keeps it simple?
Because for my brain, it just lets me do a brain dump. Like I do
Mm,
it, and then I'm free to think about something else, to listen to something else in the morning. Like I can listen to a talk that I want to listen to or a podcast, and I don't have to be on top of every kid micromanaging. That was back in the day again. But for me, it's freeing up brain space because I like to think about ideas and not keep
yes.
regurgitating, did I do this? Did I do this? Like it's down. It's down. And when I get to it, I'll mark it off. And like I even did an exercise clipboard for a while because during the course of a week, I wanted to walk twice. I wanted to do weights twice. I wanted to go to yoga. You know what I mean? So that sounds so goofy. I'm not that,
No.
but anyway, that way I could just mark it off. And it's it's a shot of, what do we call it? Dopamine, I guess, right? Isn't it? I mean, you're
Yeah.
the life coach, what
It
does
is
it do to your brain
when
when
you
you can
check it
mark,
off.
when you
Yes.
check it off?
Yes.
So it frees up space, and then it allows me to feel accomplished, because so much of what moms do, we have to be our own source of recognition, I believe. And so it's this chance to recognize all the things I do. Do you know what I mean? And I don't put
Yeah.
all the things on the clipboard, but when you check certain things off, then I just think it's a really great feeling.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps or if that works.
Totally. I think it's so good. And I
Mhm.
think, a thing that I talk about a lot is this idea of getting things so they're not swirling around in your brain,
Yes.
right? That's
Yes.
when we feel overwhelmed, when there's
Right.
just so much going on in our mind. And so this is just another way to get it out of your mind and on
Mhm.
paper and on this cute little clipboard. And then both for other people to go and execute or for you to go and execute, it just definitely simplifies, because when we feel that complexity, we want to shut
Mm.
down. When things
Mhm.
in our mind are on overload, we're like, I can't do anything. And then you have this clipboard and it's like, no, here's what you need to do. Go
Mhm.
lift weights. Okay,
Yes.
great. I know what I
Yes.
need to do. Yeah. It's
Yes,
a
you
good
said it like a
feeling.
life coach. That's awesome. That's exactly right.
I love it. Well, this has been so good. I think you've taught us just a great tip and a great way to make mom life simple. Where can people find you and get more from you?
Oh, you are sweet. So my website is just Stacy Julian, StacyJulian, stacyjulian.com. And yeah, I teach some online classes. I also, you mentioned a podcast, and I don't do it weekly anymore, but I do it whenever I feel like it. And yeah, and Instagram at Stacy Julian. But I just have to say that how much I appreciate you, and just the chance that we've had to get to know each other better. And I just love the world that we live in that provides that kind of connection. So you go, way
Definitely.
to start this awesome podcast. It will be so helpful to, to women my age, but to women younger. I mean, just listen to me. This works. Take care of yourself.
Yes.
So
I love it. Well, thank you for the encouragement for me and for everyone. I appreciate it. And thanks everyone for being here. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Mom's Life Made Simple. Need some help making your mom life simple? I offer group coaching programs using my 4-step method called the Mom's Method. This is a process of manifestation, organization, mobilization, and simplification that will give you the balance, progress, and joy you're looking for. Visit ChanelNielsenCoaching.com or find me on Instagram or Facebook at Chanel Nielsen Coaching. I love to hear from you. Reach out with your questions, your feedback, and let me know how I can help make your mom life simple.